Hello everyone, and welcome to another video, and welcome to Harry Contey, episode 2. At the end of episode 1, a man who likes cans and nectar holes was just about to call Celia. And as with episode 1, if you're thinking of eating or drinking while you're watching this video, just don't. Hi there.
Yes, good morning.
Oh, it's afternoon here.
Can you hear me right now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much. So what time is it?
Why is it so difficult for you to believe me?
Sorry, say it again.
Why is it so difficult for you to believe me?
What are you talking about? Why? When did I say I didn't believe you?
Don't worry about that, okay? How are you?
Why do you think I don't believe you?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me right now?
I can hear you. Why do you think I don't believe you? In fact, what do you think I don't believe?
You're always inquisitive.
What do you think I don't believe?
Hello.
Faced with a difficult question, our man did what they often do and disappeared. Then he changed his mind and called back.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What do you think I don't believe?
Why did you say goodbye?
What do you think I don't believe?
I just felt it. I just felt it.
What do you...
Don't worry about that.
No, I
Don't worry about that. Okay.
I want to know what it is you think I don't believe.
I just felt you don't believe me. That's just the reason.
You just felt I didn't
You're
believe.
always inquisitive.
You just felt I didn't.
If I told you don't believe me.
You just felt I didn't believe you, but you don't know what it is you think I didn't believe. Okay.
I just
Makes perfect sense, obviously.
It's okay. I'm not bothered about that. That's no problem to me.
So tell me about all this paperwork you're doing. You're still doing it, are you?
Yeah, most times when we're done for the day, we have to do some paperwork. Collect everything about the work of the day, and then most records,
Paperwork for what?
Things to write and send back to him about the work we're doing.
Yeah, paperwork for what?
Drilling of the oil and everything about the equipment and everything about the day.
Equipment for what? What equipment are you doing paperwork for?
Where I work, right?
What equipment are you doing paperwork for?
You know where I work, right? You know where I work, right?
No, you told me you didn't have a job. You were waiting. You told me you didn't have a job. You were waiting for a new contract. You told me you didn't have a job and that you were starting a new contract.
When you get to the rate, they'll give you some assignments and things to do, like working on some equipment, updating the equipment, and then getting everything done. Paper, letting it give full details about the work.
What's all that noise in the background?
Yeah, a lot of equipment here. A lot of equipment. I shouldn't be making call right now here, but I'd have to talk to you.
A lot of equipment in your house, then, because you're at home. Remember, you don't have a job. You're working from home, so you've got a lot of drilling equipment in your house, have you?
I told you I'm already in the Gulf of Mexico. I did.
Oh, they moved Colorado Springs to the Gulf of Mexico, did they? Gosh. How did you get there? Did you float down on one of those cans?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How did you get from Colorado?
I will send you one of the documents so you see IDs.
Yeah. So they've moved Colorado Springs to the Gulf. They've moved. Are you going to listen to me? They've moved Colorado Springs to the Gulf of Mexico, have they?
I'm listening to you.
They've moved Colorado Springs to the Gulf of Mexico, have they?
I can hear very well what they say.
His mate, who'd told Celia that he was in Colorado Springs, not the Gulf of Mexico, smacked him firmly round the chops, so he cut the call. They've moved Colorado Springs to the Gulf of Mexico? Asked Celia when he cut the call. No, he said. Are you sure? She asked. I'm trying to tell you that I'm working on some equipment for me to be again to travel to Mexico. Okay, Celia. But I told you that I'm doing some paperwork, right? Paperwork for what? Asked Celia. And has it got over its separation anxiety? The paperwork is for my travelling, he said. You've been doing that for days, said Celia. Why does it take so long? Make my day and tell me it's for a deck to hole and it takes ages. There are some procedures that I need to work on, he said. What does that mean? Asked Celia. It's all about the best proposal, he said. Meaning? Asked Celia. Or do you just like talking in riddles? Remember, he said, I'm not the only one submitting proposal. Oh, silly me, said Celia. How could I have forgotten? Oh, wait, perhaps because you didn't tell me? You told me you already had a new contract. Did you lose it? I can't remember telling you that, he said. I know I told you about contract, but I didn't tell you anything about starting the contract. I'm pleased you remember that, said Celia. Who will you be working with? Remember, we've already had 2 goes at that one. I told you that I'm working on paperwork, waiting for the contract. But which company will the contract be with? She asked. I work in a company here in Colorado Spring, he said. Not a contract. So you already have a job in Colorado, and you're going to leave it. And why were you telling me about paperwork for travelling to Mexico if you don't know who you'll work for? Let me tell you something I have not told you, he said, realising that he'd tied himself in knots. Ooh, go on, said Celia. I have my own company, which I'm working, but this paperwork is for ExxonMobil. That's good, said Celia. Will you be drilling deck-to holes? It's only when ExxonMobil approve it, then I will have the contract, he said. So I have to be very careful with the paperwork work. That is why it takes a lot of time. But you will be drilling deck-to holes if you get the contract, asked Celia. Yeah, he said. So, tell, how's work today? And what are you doing in your office? I'm just about to leave and go home, said Celia. We had a really quiet day today, which is unusual. We're waiting for a batch of applications to come through for students from Nigeria, but they haven't arrived yet. If they come tomorrow, we'll be really busy. Our man didn't miss a beat. Oh, that's great, he said. I don't know how you will feel if I ask this question, he said a bit later. Only one way to find out, said Celia. To which our poor beleaguered scammer replied, Find out what? The question? What do you think, said Celia, my cat's shoe size? Smile, he said. You're so funny. Are you going to ask your question? Said Celia. Yeah, he said. I can hardly wait, said Celia. I will like us to talk privately, he said, if you don't mind. What on earth do you think we're doing, said Celia. Broadcasting live on TikTok? Just ask the flipping question. I want us to talk on Google Chat, he said. I don't want to, said Celia. Why? He asked. Why should I? Said Celia. You contacted me here on Facebook. Facebook is what I use. Take it or leave it. Okay, he said. I don't know what to say anymore. How about asking that question, said Celia. I'm waiting with eager anticipation. That was the question I wanted to ask you, he said. Oh, how disappointing, said Celia. I was hoping for something much more fun, with at least one made-up word in it. What a shame. Well, said our man, I don't think there's anything to be shamed about. You know, we've just got to know each other, and I know with time we will. Of course we will, said Celia. If I only know what it was that we would. But 'tis no matter. Time alone will tell. Yeah, he said, but you are mine to me. You take your things serious. And thou art thine to thee, replied Celia, going into Shakespearean mode, as she often does. Okay, he said, take care of yourself. We'll talk later. I'm busy now. Sorry for late reply. Verily, I looketh forward to future talks, replied Celia. I'm more pleased, my dear. I have never enjoyed communication like this my whole life, he said. I'm so excited. Hast thou lived a very sheltered life, mine own one? Asked Celia. My dear, he replied, I'm so sure you are grounded with the scriptures. I love the British biblical English you use now. Thou. I am an American, you know. I'm pleased thou knowest thine Bible language, replied Celia. 'Twas translated in the time of King James. Yes, of course, he said. Hello, dear. Good morning. How was your night, baby? Hi, said Celia that evening, having ignored him most of the day. I went to visit a friend after work. Wow, he said. I missed our conversation. How's your day been? I just said I went to visit a friend after work, said Celia. I hadn't seen her for ages, and she only lives 15 minutes' drive away. How about you? Oh, I know. You were doing that elusive paperwork, working on some unspecified, nameless documents, possibly for your current unspecified job, or for your future contract that you may or may not yet have, in a location that you may or may not know. It's a strange world sometimes, isn't it? I don't know the answer to that one now, he said. I'm sure it doesn't matter, said Celia. Do you believe in a parallel universe? No, he said. I don't believe in that. Do you believe in it? I sometimes feel like I've entered one when we chat, said Celia. I don't understand. Why do you feel so? He said. It's the cans and the dector holes, said Celia. I feel life is surreal sometimes, a wormhole to a new dimension. You don't really know things about oil drilling, he said. That's why you're feeling this way. I just have to let you know that I'm not what you think I am. That's a bit profound, said Celia. What are you, then? I am here for good, he said. If you aren't what I think you are, what are you, though? Said Celia. I may have made a lot of mistakes, he said, but with you I won't do so. What kind of mistakes? Asked Celia. Not being with the woman I love, he said. Always busy for her. But now I realise my mistakes, so I don't want that to happen again. Celia ignored him for the rest of Thursday. He tried calling her on Friday, but she couldn't hear him. And then he asked her what was the problem, so she got mad with him again. Then, on Saturday morning, he sent her this photo of some snow ploughs in the snow. I know you're still mad at me, he said, and I want to show you something, sending her that photo. This is what is happening here, he said. Celia Googled the weather in Colorado Springs. I forgot to screenshot it, and I'm making this the next day, so I'll show you what the weather is like in Colorado Springs. Today it's going to be a high of 19 degrees C, or 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Yesterday it was 20 degrees C. ROFL, said Celia. At least try to say something even passingly believable, or is that one of your dector holes? He disappeared for a day and came back the next day. Hello, my dear. I'm so sorry. I've been sick for a while. I'm just getting better. I have wronged you, he said the next day when Celia ignored him. I know that, but I did not tell you what happened to me. You will not believe me. Please, you have to come online to see what I'm trying to tell you. I missed our conversation. You will get the pictures now, he said, and sent a photo of a man with a poorly hand with some stitches in it. This is what I'm telling, he said. I'm in pains now. Oh dear, how sad, said an unsympathetic Celia. I'm sure you'll live. My hand is getting better, he said the next day. That's good, said Celia. What happened? Did you have a disagreement with a can? They can be vicious if you upset them. None of that is the course, he said. The course of what? Asked Celia. True love. I'm told it runs deep. I was washing my dishes, he said. Oh dear, said Celia. Attacked by a dish. You don't have much luck, do you? Paperwork with anxiety, and now dishes with attitude. Sometimes, he said, I don't know what to say, because of the way you do talk to me. If you weren't attacked by a man-eating dish, said Celia, what happened? You take things I told you for granted, he replied. Oh no, said Celia, I would never take anything you said for granted. It was broken dishes, he said, not a man. You can fit a whole man in your washing up bowl, asked Celia. I don't have anything with anybody, so can't be attacked by man, he said. That's good, said Celia. I have no idea what that means, but it sounds awesome. Yeah, he said. I do things all by myself. I don't disturb anyone to help me, now that it was only me and my daughter. You mean you can do the washing up All by yourself?" asked Celia. "My goodness, you are growing up, aren't you? Can you put things away properly afterwards?" "I know," he said. "I do allow her to do some of those things at home, but not when I'm there to help." "Well, now she'll be doing them until I get better," he said. "You mean your daughter taught you how to do the washing up?" asked Celia. "That was very kind of her." "I was the one who taught her how to," he said. "Her mum doesn't allow her to do anything at home. But not that she doesn't want to do them, just she's having it difficult from her mum. And now she's late. I have to do my job as a father." "Oh, my goodness," said Celia. "So not only can you do the washing up all by yourself, you've also managed to teach your daughter how to do it. You really are a man of high achievement, aren't you?" To which our man replied, "I am." "Do you know just how awesome you are?" asked Celia. "That is why I'm looking for who will help me in putting her through to," he said. "I have no idea what that meant," said Celia. "But you know the old saying, 'Seek and ye shall find.'" "Yeah," he said, "and I'm seeking for it." "That's good," said Celia. "It's better to travel hopefully than to arrive." "OK," he said, "and you said something about awesome. I don't know. Please tell me." "I did," said Celia, "being able to do the washing up all by yourself." "I don't have anyone here apart from my daughter," he said. "I love her so much because she's the only one I have now. She is my eyes." "Oh," said Celia, "are you visually impaired?" "So I'm ready to do anything for her to make her happy," he said. "Including leaving her to go and work in the Gulf of Mexico," replied Celia. "I'm thinking on what to do before then," he said. "I really don't know what to do, but I'm thinking of getting a nanny for her." "I'm sure you'll think of something," said Celia. "I'm thinking of getting nanny for her if she permit me to do so," he replied. "How old is she?" asked Celia. "She's 15, going to 16, he said. "What are you doing? I guess you're busy now." "Trying to unstick my thumb from a curtain rail," said Celia. "What are you doing?" "I'm doing nothing," he said. "Still at home." "Oh, my," said Celia. "You've managed to finish all the paperwork. What a clever boy you are." "And if I have not done with that?" he replied. "Indeed," said Celia. "You know I can't be doing anything for now because of my head." "Your head?" said Celia. "What happened to your head?" "You see that right," he said. "I told you about it." "No, you didn't," said Celia. "Tell me again. Was your head in the washing up bowl when you hurt your hand? Adds a whole new meaning to putting your head in your hands." "It was in the washing up bowl," he said. "Oh, my goodness," said Celia. "Do you have a detachable head? Did you put it in the bowl to wash it?" "Yes," he said. "I did. Think it was the course." "Of course it was," said Celia. "You know what they say about horses for courses, etc.?" "No, I don't," he said. "What did they say about it?" "You said it was the course," replied Celia. "Different courses suit different horses. I guess it's the same with heads. Some wash them in the shower. Those with detachable heads can simply take them off and wash in a washing up bowl." "OK," he said. "I think I should stop using it to avoid another blues. I mean, to avoid hurting myself again." "Oh, yes, I agree," said Celia. "OK," he said. "Thanks, dear. You're so much caring. I thought you were not like this, that you are our mine, but I'm seeing real you now." "I'm so pleased you can see me for what I really am," said Celia. "Yeah," he said. "You will make a good wife." "I'm not looking for a husband," said Celia. "I'm not saying you're looking for that," he said. "That is not what I mean." "OK, what did you mean?" asked Celia. To which our man replied, in true scammer fashion, "How's the weather over there?" "Fine," said Celia. "What's it like where you are?" "Just the snow," he said. "Some side here is passing a lot because of snow. No movement for them." "Still snowing in Colorado Springs?" said Celia. "That's amazing." And to show you how truly amazing it was, Celia googled the weather in Colorado Springs. It was 11 a.m. there, and it was 18 degrees centigrade, which is 64 degrees Fahrenheit. "Having one's own microclimate is pretty amazing," said Celia. "Do you control your own weather? Do your neighbours complain about the snow around your house when they think it's nearly summer? A lot, my dear, he said, and sometimes they wish to go out. I guess they would, said Celia. Do you have to buy a special snow machine? Yeah, he said, just to clean up the place. I don't think there's snow over there. Have said something wrong? You didn't say anything. Celia, for once, was speechless. You didn't say anything. Didn't say anything about what? Asked Celia. Was I supposed to say something? I asked a question, he said. That is why I said what I said. But it's fine. What question did you ask? Said Celia. I missed it. Ask it again, please. Is there snow over there? He asked. No, said Celia. I don't have your snow machine. It's sunny here. Okay, he said. I was getting a bit fed up with our man by then, so Celia decided to ignore him for a couple of days. Some old friends are coming this evening, she said, and staying for the weekend, so I might not be online very much. She reappeared on Sunday evening. My friends have just left, she said. I miss our little chats. What would you like to talk about next? A lot, my dear, he said. Such as? Asked Celia. I miss you first, he said, and I want to tell you about my travelling. Sounds exciting, said Celia. Where have you been? I've been busy. You know that, he said. Yes, said Celia. And I did not disturb because of your friends, as you told me. Yes, said Celia. You're travelling, you said, and I want to tell you about my travelling. I'm waiting with eager anticipation. I'll be travelling this week, he said, because of the work. Yes, said Celia. Where to? Is this a guessing game? How many guesses do I get? I'm travelling to Mexico, he said. Where in Mexico? Asked Celia. Why? How long will you be there? I do love a good guessing game. Anything else you don't want to tell me? There's nothing I can tell you, my love, he said. You don't know where you're going? Asked Celia. How odd. I know, we've not talked about love before, he said. Are you sure you aren't making it up to sound impressive? Said Celia. How will you get there if you don't know where you're going? Gulf of Mexico, he said. That's where I'm going to. I told you about this before. Where on the Gulf of Mexico? Asked Celia. It's a big place. The city. That is where I'm going to, he said. I'm going there for a contract I was working on. Which city? Asked Celia. Do you ever give a proper answer to a question? What do you want again? He asked. Which city are you going to? Asked Celia again. I said Gulf of Mexico, he said. I'm feeling sleepy. A common scammer tactic. If in doubt, bow out. You said city, replied Celia. Which city? You do know the Gulf of Mexico isn't a city, or do you? Or maybe they paved the Gulf of Mexico and built a new city. Is that what happened? Have you been in Gulf of Mexico? He asked. And how do you know that it's not a city? And how many Gulf of Mexico did they have there? Asked our poor beleaguered, totally geographically challenged scammer, who probably has no idea where Mexico is, let alone where the Gulf of Mexico is, or even what the Gulf of Mexico is. I don't know that it's not a city, said Celia. That's what I was asking you. Did they pave the Gulf of Mexico and build a city? I guess they did. Is it a mega city? It's fine, he said. So, how's your day been? And how is work today? I'm just on a quick coffee break, said Celia. They did build a mega city? ? Okay, replied our scammer. You know about the mega city, right? That good? No, said Celia, I don't. That's why I was asking you. This is not what I'm thinking about now, he tried. What will you be doing in the city? Asked Celia. I will be in the sea, he said. How? Asked Celia. I thought you said they paved the Gulf and built a city. You are asked a question, he said. Yes, said Celia, it's a question. I thought you said they've paved the Gulf and built a city. What I am going to do in Gulf of Mexico, he replied. In the new city that isn't a sea, said Celia. I am going there for my contract, he said. Yes, obviously, said Celia. What is your contract? So, what do you think I'm going there to do? He said. I told you about the contract before now, so why this question again? Probably because you haven't actually answered it yet, mate. You already know what I'm going for. I have to do this because this is my money. I've worked hard for this, and you know that. You haven't told me what you're going to do, said Celia. You've only just told me it's a new mega city. I'm not psychic. Are there lots of high-rise buildings? Will you be working on top of a very tall building? Sweetheart, he said, I don't have anything to do with building. But you'll be working in the new mega city that they built when they paved the Gulf, asked Celia. I'm into oil drilling, he said, and that is what I'm going for. Drilling for oil in the middle of a city, said Celia. Won't that be noisy? Middle of sea, not city, he said. You said they'd paved the Gulf and built a city, replied Celia. I'm trying to tell you where I'm going to, my love, he said. Do you have any idea what you're talking about? Said Celia. You've already told me they've paved the Gulf and built a city. You don't understand me, he said. I don't think anybody does, mate. I'm sure they don't. Did they knock the city down and flood it again? Asked Celia. That is what the problem, he said. The problem is that the city is flooded, replied Celia. Forget about the city, he said. We'll talk about that later. Are you there? She's probably gone for a lie down in the darkened room, I should think, mate. Why would I forget about the city? Replied Celia. That's what you told me. I will explain better when I call you, he said. Let me think about what is disturbing you. I hope so, said Celia. You couldn't give me a worse explanation if you tried. I'm thinking on where to keep my daughter, he said. You could build her a nice flat with a sea view and keep her there, replied Celia. I have a home here, he said, so I don't have to take my daughter anywhere. I guess you could keep her in the attic, tried Celia. I want to get a nanny for her, he said, just that I don't know who to get for her. And he tried calling her, but Celia couldn't hear him. Shall I call you? She asked. It was a mistake, he said. I will call you later, because obviously he'd tried calling and then realised that his mate, who actually speaks English, wasn't there. Celia tried calling him again. Why won't you answer now? She said. You're here. I'm not ready to call you, he said, hunting frantically for his mate. It was a mistake. Don't be an idiot, said Celia. You're here now, so answer. Too much of a coward to answer. Too stupid to answer. I will, he said. Not now, please. Go on then, answer now, or go away, said Celia. Or are you saying you can't answer because your mate isn't here to talk to me? And if you answer, I'll know you aren't the same person that spoke to me before. You have a count of 10 to answer. If you choose stupid, idiotic, or cowardly, you'll get blocked when I get to 0. And so he got himself blocked. And that was the end of Harry Contey. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it. Please share it with your friends. Please comment down below. I read every single comment and I love you all. Please subscribe to my channel and I'll see you again in another video.